All right, what's up, everyone? Uh, this is Newt again. I think it's been a while since I've actually posted on here, which is totally fine. And because this isn't necessarily the channel that I've had at least ideas of keeping consistent of, which is something that I'll try and talk about later in this video. But basically, I wanted to come back on here, not in an attempt to update you on the initial sort of plan that I had with my habit tracker that frankly didn't really go too far anywhere. It's more about, I guess, me returning to some of this channel, and my dog is in the background playing around and stuff, but okay. So one of the things that I just found today, I'll just go over it again, is the idea that always intrigues me is starting some sort of business, even if it's a small business, whatever. And sometimes that falls into the whole category of I want to start like a climate tech business, which is definitely my like long-term goal, I guess you could say. And then the other side of it is like, oh, it could just be some sort of small business, anything like that. So I scroll around on LinkedIn for a very large amount of time per day. Don't actually love that because it's a kind of a boring platform, and frankly, all it serves me is just for me to plan out careers that I'll never end up going into doing, even while I'm just trying to get school done, essentially. And so one of the things that I finally came across was there's a creator that I follow, I think John Who, but it could be Jay Hoovy, and he runs Stan Store, and Stan Store is like this all-in-one creator marketplace, supposedly, where you can just put your link and there's a bunch of different, your entire store and stuff like that, and branding there. So they partnered up with this other guy, some like guru type guy on LinkedIn. He said, oh yeah, here's a free 30-day LinkedIn like a marketing course. Essentially, it wasn't about marketing, it was about like making your first $1,000 online. So I'm like, all right, it's free, like I will sign up. The trial is also free, got extended, so I'll sign up. But then I did, so I signed up. I got the first email, I set up the store, I did that sort of stuff, and instantly, like, where my mind goes is, wow, this would be really cool. It'd be really cool to have some sort of side income, I guess, if that makes sense. And it'd be really cool to work on personal branding, because I'm actually almost more interested in that, in terms of understanding that putting yourself out there, putting yourself online provides more opportunities for yourself. And so I've done those sorts of things, but they've only been on platforms like this. They haven't been like super, or videos like this, they haven't been super high quality. And they are not consistent, which is like my issue, right? I'm not very consistent with things. I'll make something, get really excited, it's fun. When I finally post it, awesome. And then months go by before I post something else, right? So if you're trying to build an online business according to this sort of strategy, which is do something every single day, that's really hard. And so the next video that came across my feed, like I just opened YouTube actually, so it was entirely different, but apparently very well suited, was it was targeted at people with ADHD and saying like, how do ADHDers run, or how can they run their business, right? And I felt like I related with some of the lines there, in that the creator of the video, who is a coach essentially for ADHD people that want to start their business, talked a lot about how sometimes it's just hard to make a sort of schedule. It's hard to keep consistent. It's hard to do certain tasks at certain times. It's hard to try and make this sort of manufactured level of content. And she essentially is arguing for, work on your own schedule within reason, but try and adjust your brain on ADHD, and also to be authentic with yourself, which sort of led me to make this video. I watched a video after that about another person, how they're specifically running their small business and essentially, taking breaks, doing that same thing of acknowledging when your brain is like, I don't want to do art right now, but I'll do the finances side of thing. And just really trying to work with yourself better, which is something that I definitely want to get into. But it draws me back to the idea of me wanting to better understand myself, maybe, because I feel like I think about a lot of different things. Like I spend hours every day thinking, and like I mentioned, career planning is one of them. It might be like travel planning occasionally, or really more like property, look at Spotify numbers. I like a lot of numbers. I like looking at a lot of numbers. And part of it might be like starting a business, starting a side hustle, starting whatever before I'm even like finished with school yet, right? And I always want to do these things and I never do them, which is something that I've talked about in a couple of the other previous videos, right? Like I'll start and like within 2 weeks of me starting something, I just like fail. It's just like, it's gone. And then I just feel bad and and I forget about it and I move on to the next thing and then I get really interested in that. So I thought maybe I should just try and make some more videos on just myself, just talking to the camera again, to try to better evaluate who actually am I a little bit more and how do I work, because I think about these things a lot. And I don't actually necessarily write it down all the time. And I especially don't take what I'm learning about myself and sort of modify my behavior very often. So that's something that I definitely want to work on. And I think we'll see how this like 30-day challenge turns out. My mind goes to, I've never posted that many days in a row, or I've never really done branding that many days in a row despite wanting to. So I don't know if it'll work out. But then I think about, that's already sort of imposing boundaries on myself. I just think that maybe perhaps I don't really give enough credit to how I work, how my brain works. And so I sort of think perhaps along the lines of what the standard like online business influencer people, any business people are going to tell you of like, oh, I need to do this consistently. And if I don't do it consistently, then then I'm failing at it and I just stop, right? There's a bit of like black and white rigidity in thinking there, which is fine, but it's also like, I also acknowledge that if I don't post consistently or I don't do things consistently, it seems like it's harder to get results, and you won't get results than just posting once and then posting 2, 3, and 4 months later. So there has to be some sort of balance I can strike, and I'm just guessing that balance comes with better understanding myself first and trying to implement it there, because frankly, it feels like my mind goes to 20 different places every single day, all the time. And I hop from interest to interest to interest, very, very much so, in terms of what I want to do with my life and what I want to do with myself in my free time, what I want to do with maybe as a side hustle one day, or even today or tomorrow, or no, not actually none of those. So maybe I will, maybe I won't put it out there. Just make some more of these videos every once in a while talking about how I'm doing in an effort to better understand what I could be doing differently to essentially make things better in that sort of vague way. But I think more specifically, make it easier to get done certain work, maybe that'll help me end up, doing one thing consistently. I just think the issue is, like I mentioned, I have so many different ways and directions that my mind goes all the time. So I think that's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope everyone is doing well, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.